welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is going to be a reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the upcoming full moon in Aquarius, happening on August the 22nd or August the 23rd, depending on where you live. Now I've got my cards ready. We're going to start with the Moon Oracle here and pull 3 cards from 3 piles. Okay. Ooh, interesting messages here for Virgo. Now, this is really interesting. Let's see what we have on the bottom of the deck here. Okay, so we've got some interesting messages here for Virgo. We've got, it's time to take action. It's time to take action to release something that is negative here, to release some negativity, because the current path you're on, it's not going to lead you anywhere. And so it's interesting because of the idea that you've got to make the first move here. You've got to make the first move, bottom of the deck. Oh, wow, look what's right behind that. You're very close to achieving your goal, but you're not going to be able to do it on the track that you're walking that doesn't clear you of the negativity. That's got to happen first. So it looks like Virgos are in a position right now where they're needing to assess how to take action on a situation by releasing the negativity so that the situation can prosper, so that it can go forward. Because currently, sitting in the negative space, nothing will come of this, Virgo. Nothing will come of this as long as you are negative. But it is time to take an action here, and you're very close to your goal. And it's time for you to make the first move. This is a very interesting message here for Virgo. Let's dive into the tarot to clarify some of this. This is really interesting. So Virgos are on a path right now that they need to shift out of the negative space. It's probably a path that is challenging. And so, sometimes when we're in a challenging space, we tend to vibrate in those very low places like fear and that competition and comparison and lack of worth and, measuring and stuff like that. So it's sort of a time where you're going to have to release those kind of things. Let's see here what needs to be released. It's time to release negativity. Nothing will come of this situation. Not the way it is. It's time to take an action very close to your goal. Very interesting. Okay, let's see here. What needs to be released? What is this negativity that Virgo needs to release? Ooh, that was an interesting shuffle. Okay, Virgo. What needs to be released? Judgment. So your attachment to a certain outcome needs to be released. That's how I'm interpreting that. Nothing will come of this situation. Oh, that fell on the floor. Nothing will come of this situation. 3 of Cups. So there's some relationships that the outcomes aren't going to be what you thought. Interesting, Virgo. Some relationships in your life are changing. How are these connected? How are these connected? How are these connected? Judgment and the 3 of Cups. Ooh, the deck is behaving funny. Okay. The Fool. That's how they're connected. This is teaching you something about yourself. So Virgos are on a path that's teaching them something about themselves, but the current step you're taking, Tower on the bottom, is not going to help you move forward because it's resisting the truth. Yes, so there's a truth you're resisting as you embark on this path of self-discovery, and you're facing it with an you've got an outcome in mind, and if it's not that outcome, it's like you're not accepting that. You're not accepting that it won't be a certain outcome, right? But you're on this path of self-discovery, And so it's sort of like, in order to move forward, it's time to release that negativity. I think this negativity is this idea that you can't, or are resistant to releasing yourself from the status quo and accepting that it's just not the outcome you had in mind. And it has to do with some people in your life. It has to do with some people in your life, Virgo. And it's a difficult betrayal. It's a feeling of betrayal, and you're not really understanding why this conflict, was necessary. And it almost feels like really bad luck. Look at these cards. Really bad luck, and that it's like the opposite of you getting your wish. Like this was an unanticipated, really feeling like an unfortunate betrayal. Really, really interesting. Virgos are going through it here. So it's time to take action in a different direction. What should Virgo's attention be? Balancing this action here. Interesting. And this might involve some actual travel. This might involve some movement on your part, Virgo. And it might also just involve the idea that you need to bring into harmony the parts of you that are creative and the parts of you that are decisive. The parts of you that, it's like you're imposing limits on yourself here a little bit. So it's like, yeah, free yourself from this so that you can balance your energy. It's time to take action on balancing your energy. This card was pulled to clarify here. So in order to take action, you need to literally take action. You need to balance these energies and pick a direction for them to flow into. And so this is really interesting, but it's just that I think the pathway that you're on right now, it's shifting. Even if you're going to have a hard time releasing the negativity, it's getting released. It's just whether or not you accept it or not, but it's happening. Like the things are shifting. So balancing things out makes sense. Now you're very close to achieving your goals. We see the Justice and the Six of Wands. So that says that you're at the stage of achieving goals with the Six of Wands, where you're receiving recognition. So somehow externally you are getting support here. And when I see that card with Justice, I feel like that combination of energies with you're very close to achieving your goal suggests that not only are you receiving external validation, but you're receiving validation from yourself. Like inside of you feel a sense of balance, and you feel that things are aligning in a virtuous way, regardless of it being externally sort of recognized and acknowledged. You're recognizing and acknowledging it. You're starting to see it. And hopefully what you're starting to see is that when you focus on the things that are shifting and the betrayals and the vision of a wish sort of getting destroyed, and this feeling of like a lack of fortune with people close to you, and waiting on outcomes that you had attached a lot of meaning to and finding that they've just fallen away. It's almost like you have to shift gears completely back to the self, and align your energy and realize how close you are to actually achieving your goals without being distracted by this, right? And then here we see be bold and make the first move. So let's clarify, be bold and make the first move. We see the Two of Pentacles, which says that there are opposing forces. So if you're wondering whether or not you should make the first move, this card is certainly suggesting you should. But it seems like there are opposing forces. Look at that. You've got the Chariot, which is aligning two energies. You've got the Justice, which is balancing the scales. And you've got the Two of Pentacles, which is all about aligning two opposing forces and just making a decision that feels right for you. Making a decision that feels right for you and making the first move. And look at the Star card on the bottom of your deck at the end of that pull. So that really says to me, you are really close to achieving your goals. It's just, it's time to release that negativity. You're not going to achieve things that way. Nothing will come of this situation as long as you are approaching it through the perspective of negativity and misfortune and betrayal and loss and rejection. You've got to start looking at this a little differently here, Virgo. Okay, let's see what the Oracle deck says here for the final guidance on this reading, Virgo, for the full moon. Okay, let's start with be bold and make the first move. Trust. Trust yourself. Trust that you'll know which way to go. Trust. Use that intuition. Ooh. Use your intuition and your senses and trust in your ability to make the right decision for you. Whatever feels right for you. Trust that you'll know what that is. And I mean, the Moon Oracle is certainly suggesting that you make the first move here and to be bold, so to be really authentic. You're very close to achieving your goal. You're very close to achieving your goal. We've got opportunity and fulfillment. Okay, Virgo, so like things are coming together here for you. And it's almost like you just, you can't see it because you're involved, but there's a beautiful full moon in that fulfillment card. And you have this opportunity, an opportunity to really achieve the goal that you have, whatever it is that you've been working on. It's coming to a place where it's going to be successful. Okay, it's time to take action. It's time to take action, and you are at a standstill. And that's where we see the Chariot. That's interesting. This is where you're at a standstill. You're at a standstill on taking action because you don't know which direction to take. You don't know how to take a right action yet for yourself, something that feels right for you, because you're still at a standstill here. But it is time to take action. You might be feeling that standstill because of this opposing energy here, that, you're being guided to trust your intuition and make the first move. Make it the first move and take action, and yet you're at a standstill. So Virgo, that's where you're hesitating. And maybe you're at a standstill for good reason, because you got to change tracks first. You got to get off this negativity first, and then maybe that's why you're at a standstill, and nothing will come of this situation as long as you're at a standstill and as long as the focus is on what the loss is, right? This describes loss. This scenario is a loss here. You're perceiving this as more meaningful than what you could possibly be stepping into. And so it's almost like that shift has to happen. So maybe it's a good thing you're at a standstill, but you are going to be called to take action to balance these energies. So, it's interesting. It's interesting because you're hesitating, and maybe you're hesitating because you need a minute. Maybe you just need a minute. Okay, what about releasing this negativity and nothing will come of this situation as it is? Simplicity. Yeah, there is a need to see this situation differently. And what was taken from you, you will have look back on this one day and say that those relationships that are gone now, for whatever reason, the truth that you see in these relationships that, right now you're resisting this truth. When we see the Tower in reverse with the Three of Cups, you're resisting it, but it's more simple than you're making it. It's just redirection. You're being taken in a new direction that you will eventually take action on, and it'll help you achieve your goals, and you'll be very fulfilled. So this had to end for this to begin. So it's really an interesting reading here for you, Virgo. And we've got new beginnings, as I say that, on the bottom of your deck. So I think this message speaks for itself. It's a new beginning that is coming out of an ending. It's coming out of an ending that could be significant relationships, friendships maybe, that you see the truth behind things. There's no way it can move forward. Nothing will come of this situation. You need a new beginning, right? Nothing will come of this situation. It's time for a new beginning. Wow, I'm going to leave it at that. If this has resonated for you and you would like a personal reading, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for liking, subscribing, and watching. And we will see you again very soon for another reading. Sending you lots of love and light at this full moon.